Well, welcome to 2024, and I've been making some videos and I thought I'll make a video for the photographers amongst you and let you know what my plans are for this year. Now, I did a very interesting photographic exhibition early in the year called The Door, and I used for that exhibition, I actually used my lady's camera in Germany. But I did take my Olympus pen EP1 camera with me, and I have noticed that after you do big jobs like major works and exhibitions and so on, that you often lose your camera. It's happened to me many times, and so I got my camera followed me all the way from Germany back to England, through all the changes, the bus, the train, the changes and everything, and right at the end, on the last bus, just before the last bus, the final bus at Herefordshire, and I was concerned about making the connection between the Hereford and the last bus to Bromyard. There was only like a few minutes in time. It was late, yeah, and so I had my camera in my food bag, and I failed to pick my food bag up, and I left the food bag on the coach. And I got onto the bus, and as I was sitting on the bus, and I suddenly realised, my food bag, and then I went and had a look, and the coach had gone. And so my camera was taken, and I sort of thought afterwards, yeah, maybe it's time to use a different camera. Now, I still have this camera, and also my this is micro 4/3. I had a very nice 4/3 lens which I had on the other camera. This lens I didn't have on the Olympus pen, and so I still have the micro 4/3 lens. I still have the lens, and so I still have a working camera here, but I generally just use this one for just traveling pictures and things like that. It's not really I don't really like to use this as a studio camera. And the one I'm recording video on now is the Sony RX10, and I did try before, when I got back, I did try taking some shots with this camera to see if this camera was good enough for what I want to do next, and I wasn't happy with the results I was getting from it. It's sharp, but the quality of the pictures is somewhat artificial and not as good as the Olympus, I feel. So anyway, there's another camera that I got last year, which is this one here, the Cam Media E10, and this one takes, although it's small megapixels, it takes very, very nice photos, and it's got a very good lens on it, a wide aperture lens, and so I found that this one is nice for portraiture, and so I may be doing some work with this one, as this is a new camera that I haven't really used for any serious work yet. And it's a bit of a, well, will I use it because it's such a low megapixel? That 4 megapixel it is. But it's surprising how good 4 megapixel can be if you only want to print, this size picture. Yeah, it's good enough. So I have this camera in reserve, but it is not so easy to use. I like a big screen, and so before I made my trip, I was thinking about getting another camera, and the camera that I was interested in getting was the Olympus M1, I think it's EM1, Olympus EM1, which is their professional camera in micro four thirds. And I did some tests on this lens. I thought if I get that camera body, I could put this lens on it. And this lens is very, very good, very sharp. It's just a cheap lens, but it is very, very, very good lens. This is the 14 to 42 millimeter. I'm completely happy with the results I get from this lens. So I thought, you know, maybe my next camera for the next set of work that I do will be that M1, the M1. So that's what I'm thinking camera-wise, and I wouldn't be thinking about that if I hadn't lost my camera, really. And the prices of those are pretty good at the moment. In fact, they may go up rather than go down. And so I think they're a good investment. Like the EP1, I bought that at its lowest point, and I paid about £50 for my EP1. And I see they're hard to get. They're fetching between 100 and 200 now, so they're nice cameras. Yeah, so they're worth between 100 and 200, I would say. And you can pick up an M1 for just a bit more than 200 at the moment. And so, you know, they're good buying, really. And they're professional camera, yeah, they're sealed, waterproof, and if you're going on a boat trip and stuff like that, it's probably not a bad idea. Of course, you need to pay a lot for the lens if you want, you know, the top quality one, but yeah, these lenses are good, and if you've got water in it, I suppose you could buy yourself another one. I did like the set of lenses. I still have this camera here, which is it's a very similar camera to the one I used for my lady Elizabeth's camera. Hers has got the CCD sensor. This is the normal conventional sensor, and so I'm still left with the 40 to 150 millimeter micro four thirds lens on this, and yeah. Maybe that's all I need for this camera. This is a single lens reflex, and maybe I'm just going to use this camera for sort of more boating, telephoto shots for boating and that sort of thing. So this is quite good for that. So yeah, my Olympus Pen EP1 was really my favourite camera. You know, it was my studio camera, and one thing I liked about it was the size of the screen at the back. In fact, I'm surprised that somebody hasn't cottoned on, some manufacturer hasn't cottoned on to making a large not a large format camera, but one with a large screen, a larger screen, say you know, something about this size, and then putting it on a larger body, but having the micro four thirds system, I think would be a really, really nice camera to have. But no manufacturer is going to make this now. It's a shame, really, because they build a bigger camera. They want it, you know, they're thinking more, let's make it 50 megapixels and all that sort of stuff, and when it was really all you want is the bigger screen. The big screen is so nice. You know, you put the camera on a tripod, and you know, that old viewfinder look, yeah, where you can see the whole picture really, really clearly. That would be such a wonderful experience, rather than going to all this megapixel, bigger sensor, bigger sensor, bigger sensor. Let's just go bigger screen. You can simulate it by using the iPad, but it's not the same. You want it built into the camera, and there's nothing like that. And of course, I only buy second-hand stuff anyway, so I'm not a market for that kind of thing. But it's a shame, really, that we don't have these things available to us, because I feel that that's the limiting factor, is the size of the screen. The bigger the screen, the better if you're composing in a studio situation. A studio camera, yeah, that's what's missing from the world. You know, there are, well, I don't think there are. I don't think there are cameras, even the high megapixel ones. They're trying to keep everything small. They're trying to be one size fits all. You don't need 50 megapixel. I mean, it's nice, you can do this sort of stuff, but you don't need it. And to build these high megapixel cameras, big sensors, all that, they're expensive beasts. Why can't we use the existing technology? 16 megapixels is good enough. 16 megapixels, use the old technology, so we've already got the chips that process it, and then just put a big screen on. We've got the screens, just take well, maybe we haven't got the screens, because these phones that we do, they're all long and thin, and you don't want that. You want something that's more of a 4x5 or 8x10 format. Yeah, 4x5 inches would be a really nice size screen. To build a camera around a 4x5 screen, if there is one, and then just put micro four thirds hardware onto it. Well, that's already existing. Like take the engine of the EM1 or something like that, the Olympus EM1, and just build a bigger body with a 4x5 screen on it. What a great camera that would be. I'd certainly been looking at the second-hand market after 10 years if they made such a camera. Would anybody else be interested in it? I don't know. There's not many people who use tripods anymore, but if you do shoot on a tripod, once you learn to like the result, you can't shoot any other way. And all the pictures that I did for my door exhibition, all taken in Germany, they were all done on a tripod. And I did actually handheld some on my phone, because there was one day where it was snowing and I had my phone, I didn't have a camera with me, and I needed to capture some of that. And yeah, it was just, the quality wasn't bad, but you think, oh, I wish I had my tripod and my decent camera with me. And the other thing I think is, they used to, in the olden days, the photographers, they used to put a cover over their head so that they could really see the view properly. You could do that too. You could have the camera with a built-in cover that just comes over the top of your head. And, you've got that, like a modern view camera. What a great idea. And get into some real photographs. Forget about AI. AI is a dead end. It's just a rabbit warren. You could just get lost in that stuff. And I have a personal thing that I will not use AI in any form. I object to AI. I object to its whole idea, its whole concept. I think it's evil. And I don't think anybody should ever have invented AI. And I think all the people who are going to get sucked into it are just going to lose their way. The whole world is going to lose its way in AI. And it'll probably all turn out for the worst in the end, because they're going to spend their money, do their shirts on it, and then the whole market's going to collapse, and it will destroy YouTube. It will destroy Google, YouTube, because there won't be any. You won't be able to go on there, because it will all be lost. You won't be able to tell what's real and what isn't real, and you just have to turn your computer off and go back to this stuff. Yeah, that's what's going to happen. There's going to be a rebellion. There's going to be a rejection of AI. That's my prediction for the future for 2024. Thanks for watching.